Hey everyone, welcome. Thanks for tuning in to the Tower Radio. You are listening to The Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
I really wish you wouldn't do that. Hey, what's up, fellow gamers? Like he said, you're listening to the Doghouse here on CBC Tower Radio. Yeah, we got a pretty good show lined up for you today. Got a lot of stuff to cover, but we're gonna do our best to get through all of it
In 2 hours.
in 2 hours.
2 hours.
There's a lot to talk about, but we can do it.
We can do it.
If you
Before we
believe.
get into any of that,
I don't believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
before we get into any of that,
You have
Mhm,
something you want
mhm.
to say?
let's jump into the verse for the day.
All right, cool. I'll go ahead and do that real quick then. So, today's verse of the day is Psalm 86:5, and it says, "For you, O Lord, are good and forgiving, abounding in steadfast love to all who call upon you." There's not a lot of explaining. It talks about how God is good and forgiving, and He loves all of His children. That's what I got, Chief.
Sounds good.
Wow, dude,
what it is.
that's great.
I mean, it's good stuff, so
Pretty cool.
it's good. All right, let's jump over
what
to the
else?
weather.
You know what else is pretty cool?
What?
The weather today. It's 50 degrees outside.
The sky is still here, and stuff is happening in it.
There's a sun.
The sky is on fire!
We're not in Australia. What are you talking about?
It's
Oh,
50
gosh.
It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside. That's 10 degrees Celsius for all of our legions of German fans across the pond.
Hundreds upon thousands of German fans that we do, in fact, have.
Dozens upon one, yes.
This is a fact.
This is a true statement.
I like to think we have one German fan who just tells everyone else, like by word of mouth, about how cool we are.
They all gather around his radio
Sure.
as they listen to the show, as they should.
Absolutely.
It's overcast today, with a humidity of 67%. We have a northwesterly wind of 6 miles per hour, and the wind chill brings it down to 48 degrees Fahrenheit, 9 degrees Celsius. So it's kind of chill. So, if you haven't gone outside yet today at 3 p.m., maybe put on a jacket or something. Moron.
Rethink. If you
Go
haven't-
outside.
Lazy bum.
If you haven't gone outside by 3 p.m., maybe rethink some of your life choices.
Or maybe your life choices have allowed you to do this.
Or maybe you can't, in which case I feel really bad for you.
Maybe they're just having a real good gamer session, Like it's just they're grinding
I have a game. I have
and
a show.
grinding.
I'm on a show about video gaming, and if I did that, I would feel horrible. About
I know.
myself.
I do
Hey,
too.
hey, y'all,
I
it's-
usually do.
DJ Updog here.
Welcome to
I
the
just want
dog.
to welcome to the Doghouse. First thing, we're just talking about sometimes the best gamer move you can make
Is going outside.
is to take a break. Give those eyes a rest.
You know how Nintendo
Please.
makes games where it says take a break often? They aren't kidding. You should actually do that. It's a good idea.
The frontal cortex of the brain can only take so much Guilty Gear before it explodes.
Truth.
Right.
Truth. Oh man.
But yeah, moving on from that, let's jump into top of the hour.
Okay,
What
he
are you
didn't
doing?
mess up.
I'm
Okay.
trying my best.
That
okay?
wasn't bad. It was just kind of quiet.
I looked at you and I waited for you to do it.
Yeah, you didn't do the
You
thing.
I don't know what
there.
you're talking about.
Okay, whatever.
Are we
Well,
doing-
Sir Husky, do you wanna start the
It's like
top of the
you're
hour?
It's like you're a completely different person.
Ever since he.
Ba-bum, top of the hour.
Hey!
I was
Yeah.
gonna wait for one of you guys to start, and then I was gonna interrupt you with it.
He started.
He didn't start his story. That was what I.
All right.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Top of the hour. What, Brian?
Do I?
Dingo, why don't you open us out?
Oh,
Open
okay.
us up
I thought.
with your top of
I
the
thought it
hour.
was second.
Yours
Okay.
is
If you
the
had
most
some news
boring.
from Atlas, and also that you might want to lump in there.
I do have news from Atlas. that I wanna look at. From Atlas? I don't think that was me.
Never mind.
Games, I think.
Platinum.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I'll
Same
talk
thing.
about that too. It's a
We're
big difference.
professionals, I promise.
Anyways, so Platinum Games tweeted out a picture, and like they kind of hinted that there'd be some kind of announcement soon. Like that's what the big idea what this picture is. And the cool thing about this picture is the date on the computer and the time on the computer were both set to 1:01. So the time was 1:01 and the date was October 1st. And so the big thing that we think of whenever you see the numbers 101 and Platinum Games together, you think of the Wonderful 101, which is a really cool Wii U game that got zero love.
They're gonna put him in Smash.
And so my hope isn't Smash. I mean,
No.
I actually do think he'd be a cool character.
no, the
he-
new Wonderful 101 game would be.
Yeah, like
Cool.
honestly just a port.
I never played it. but
You
I
could
feel
bring
like it's
it
good.
over to the Switch. It was a really fun game, and so I think it's one that
Right.
deserves a lot more hype. So that was something
Awesome.
cool that might happen. That's a bunch of speculation based off of a lot of other fans. So I'm hoping too. But anyways, on to the thing I was actually talking about. I was talking about Nintendo Switch sales. So as of December 31st, the Nintendo Switch has actually sold 52.48 million units, which is crazy insane. One of the biggest numbers I also wanted to talk about a little bit was their software sales. This is basically, for those that don't know what this means, this is how many games have been bought for the system, which is 310.65 million units. And the reason I want to bring that up is the Nintendo 3DS, which had been out like for forever before the Switch was even thought of, has 382.22 million units sold as far as software is concerned.
That's a lot of fish.
So the Switch has already almost caught up to the 3DS in terms of game sales, basically. Well, in terms of actual money, it's probably definitely caught up because Switch games are more expensive. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think another cool thing I wanted to bring up real quick, as he goes and does things, it's halfway caught up to the Wii, which has 101 million units sold, which is a really, really crazy number if you really think about it. So yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and talk a little bit. One more thing I wanted to bring up with this is the top 10 games that were sold by the Switch. I'll start with number 10. Number 10 is Luigi's Mansion 3, which is 5.37 million units sold. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is 5.85 million units sold. Super Mario Party is at 9.12. Splatoon 2 is at 9.81. The new Pokemon games, Pokemon Sword and Shield, are number 5, which is 16.6 million. Something that surprised me, I'm trying to skim through this kind of faster. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the second best-selling Switch game. And the first is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it's beating Ultimate by 5 million units. So, yeah. I like stats. I like looking at these things and seeing that some things are making more money than others. So, unlike some people, I think it's cool.
Where am I? What's happening?
Here at the Doghouse. Hey
Welcome.
everybody, thanks for tuning in. You listen to the Doghouse. If you just tuned in on the radio.co, sorry we had a little bit of problem. I forgot to turn this on.
It really be
Oh,
like that.
boy.
It's okay.
But yeah,
Is it my turn?
welcome to the Doghouse. You listen to your
Yeah.
host Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
Hey, what's up, fellow gamers?
Hi guys.
You tuned in right as Bryant was finishing his top of the hour, so
You didn't miss
incredible
a whole lot
timing.
Yet. Wow.
Perfect.
Thanks.
That's how I'm gonna listen to this show from now on.
Well,
All
I'll
right.
put my headset down and leave. Also,
Husky.
Vista.
Husky, it's time for your top of the hour. The bar has been set incredibly low.
It's
give
Okay.
give it your best shot.
okay. I won't talk about anything sales related ever again.
Alright,
My
so
apologies.
The first thing is that Blizzard has apparently canceled Overwatch League matches in lieu of the coronavirus fears. So all Overwatch League matches scheduled to take place in China for the next 2 months due to the country's coronavirus crisis have been canceled. The company issued a short statement which reads, "We've decided to cancel our February-March matches in China in order to protect the health and safety of our players, fans, and staff." Blah, blah, blah. So it's interesting. This
Yeah.
also comes on the back end of the World Health Organization
Hmm.
saying that the coronavirus is a national or an international
Emergency.
emergency.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's
I mean,
crazy.
As much as I would, I'm sure a lot of people are really disappointed, but at the same time, having a bunch of sweaty people gathered in like a big auditorium is probably not a good idea right now.
I imagine that is probably a
a concern at
a
the very
concern
least.
at the very least, and one that Blizzard does not want to take
Oh yeah,
take
which
the
makes-
flack for on top of other things that we'll get into.
Mhm. That makes perfect sense to me. So it's just being safe with your fans, which is a good thing to do.
The second thing that I had, let me just get it pulled up. So there are free games every month, obviously, that PlayStation Plus and Xbox Gold offer. I'm gonna fill you guys in on those. So this month for February 2020, if you have PlayStation Plus, BioShock the Collection,
Oh wow.
Yes.
Sims 4, and Firewall 0 Hour are your PS Plus games for February. So
One of
if
those
you want to
sounds good.
download those, February 1st, get in there and download those games. Obviously, out of all those games, I think BioShock is the big seller on those.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be downloading those
Do it.
and playing them because I've never actually got to play BioShock games.
Same.
The first two are incredible, and the third one is also really good,
Just weird,
but
Just
not
not
as
as
good as
good.
the first two.
right?
So should I start with the third one,
But,
or does that break any kind of story
No,
sequence?
just play the first two.
Okay.
And the third. Play all three of them. It's fine, but like, don't get your hopes too high for the story in the third one. It's still
Oh,
got
okay.
some really incredilot sequences and stuff. So
Gotcha.
So yeah, be sure to pick those up and be sure to pick up BioShock because it was a lot of people's games. A lot of people I remember in Game Informer when I read about it, people were saying, "Is this?" They were wondering if this is actually like the perfect game when they were talking about it at
Wow.
the time. So it was up for serious discussion at that point. For,
I wouldn't go that far, but I think it's the best way to do a cinematic style of gaming.
I think it was just like the hype around it, and I think that was the first time I've
Yeah.
actually ever seen somebody like discuss, like go into that. But
Hmm.
yeah, so that's interesting. For Xbox Gold, you can get. Let me see. It looks like Call of Cthulhu is going to be free from
Ooh.
February 15th
Hmm.
to March 15th, and let me see. I want to make sure I get these right. Yeah. TT Isle of Man is going to be available February 1st to the 29th on Xbox One. On Xbox One and 360, you can expect to be able to get from February 1st to the 15th Fable Heroes,
Hmm.
and also
I don't know about that one.
the OG Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh, the OG
The
one.
OG one, really?
From
Oh, that's-
February 16th to the 29th.
That's a good game,
I might
actually.
I might have to
Buy an Xbox.
steal an Xbox. To start.
Good thing I have friends who
You
have that.
You have 16
Congratulations.
days. You have 16 days to acquire the funds to buy an Xbox and get Xbox Gold.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. A 360 is probably not much anymore.
I just really quick to tack on to that. This isn't my top of the hour or anything, but both Half-Life games are free to play for the next 2 months on Steam.
hmm
I'm playing the first one right now.
How is it?
It's like a step up from GoldenEye, which is great, I guess. I don't know.
That's not saying
It's
much,
fine.
dude.
But yeah,
No.
if you're so inclined to go ahead and check those out, I guess.
Not for England. For me. Got him.
Portal games are
Ooh.
better. All right,
Probably.
so
That's fair.
I
okay,
just remember the GoldenEye movie. It was good.
It was great.
Mhm.
I guess I'm gonna jump into my top of the hours. real quick.
Yeah.
By all means.
So, I think as we see gaming kind of increase in popularity, like all across the board, we're seeing a lot more like real life gamer attractions.
Mm.
We just heard about Nintendo Land opening up in Universal Studios or whatever,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
so it's no surprise that Atari is getting in on the game, so to
The-
speak.
The very
Yeah.
relevant company,
The
Atari.
very relevant and real company Atari.
Yes. Very relevant.
Famous for such well-known titles as Pong and like Alien, that one with the
Tanks.
tanks. Yeah,
Thanks, yeah.
those are actually some pretty.
You talking about
important
Space
games.
They help-
Invaders?
Space Invaders, sure.
They helped develop Godzilla Melee.
Yeah, there you go.
Hmm.
Anyway,
We've done some things. Small things. but
Atari
some.
is
The best
opening-
arena fighter.
Atari is opening 8 hotels here in the U.S.
Oh no.
With the first one scheduled for like the middle of this year in Phoenix. If you haven't seen like pictures of what they're planning to look like, they look like the Atari console, but kind of like the building is shaped like one.
Oh my gosh. What?
Are
Yeah.
they love hotels?
No, according to
Thank
Atari,
goodness.
Atari hotels will be the first of their kind in the U.S., offering gamers of all ages the ultimate in immersive entertainment and in every aspect of gaming. The hotels are said to feature virtual and augmented reality attractions.
What?
Yeah. So like this could be interesting, you know? Like if it's really bad, that'll be cool, and if it's really good, that'll be nice too. Either way, I'm interested to see what Atari plans on bringing to
I'm
the table with
I'm
this one.
sickened yet interested.
I'm intrigued,
I'm
Atari.
just-
You have my interest. Yeah.
I'm really just interested. Like, I kind of just want to see what it looks like when
Yeah,
it's done.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Will
Who
there be
knows?
space invaders that try to attack me
What I'm hearing is
when I'm in the shower?
Doghouse Road Trip.
No, I'm poor. I can't go to Phoenix. Are you kidding?
Oh my gosh. Is that where the first one's opening, right?
Yeah,
Phoenix? Okay.
yeah.
Where are the other places it might open? Did you
They
read
haven't
those?
said yet.
Okay.
Phoenix is the first one. I think that's kind of a trial. We'll see how well this does.
Oh, wow.
But they're planning on building 8 more or 7 more.
Wow.
Yeah, my second top of the hour, Kentucky Fried Fortnite. Kentucky Fried Fortnite.
What?
Kentucky.
What does
Fried
that
Fortnite.
mean?
What
Like,
does that mean?
explain yourself,
It means
please.
the Kentucky High School Athletic Association has banned Fortnite from esports varsity programs within the state.
Oh, I did hear about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Basically, there's a lot of concern from the association because of the depictions of gun violence in the popular third-person shooter. I kind of see what they're having a problem with. So this company called Playversus, basically what they do is they talk to state school boards and they kind of organize like state high school and college level tournaments in different games. They've got games like I think Smite's one of them. Smite, Rocket League, a couple others.
I hate this so much. Go ahead.
Yeah, Smite, Rocket League, stuff like that. But the problem was they didn't tell the Kentucky school board that they were including Fortnite when they signed the agreement. So they kind of, I don't want to say they slipped it in, but it went unnoticed.
Sounds like they slipped
And
it
it
in.
kind of shocked it kind of, was kind of a shock to the Kentucky, association whenever it came up. So now they're banning it from that esports league, I guess.
Sounds like that's where I'd want to play because I don't care anything about Fortnite.
That's the thing. Like, I don't care about Fortnite, but at the same time, like, I kind of get why it might be in poor taste.
Yeah.
At the very least, to kind of start
That's fair.
having a shooter like in your roster for high school level players.
I think even that, but like something that I've realized as Fortnite has continued to kind of grow in popularity, or I think now it's more of a plateau. It's really kind of at the top of its game, and it's stayed there. But I would say that one thing I didn't realize until now is that the tournament scene for Fortnite's a little bit bigger than I thought originally. And so it makes sense as to why they would want that to be there. There's probably a lot of people in Kentucky that would drive to the tournament location and play Fortnite. But I really understand the school board's decision to kick it off.
It's not a school board. It's like an association of school boards. But yeah,
Okay, so it's like a group of school boards.
sort of. Yeah,
It's close.
it's a big
But-
conglomerate association group thing. But yeah, that's all I got for top of the hour.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. Top of the hour. Well done. You've made me proud.
Thank
That's
you,
interesting.
Papa.
So yeah, if you're planning on doing any Fortnite tournaments in the Kentucky area, don't do it. Colonel Sanders will break your kneecaps.
Yikes.
Colonel Sanders lives in
I love
Kentucky.
you, Colonel Sanders. I love you.
Okay,
Colonel
whoa.
Sanders.
This is not the dating sim. We don't need to talk about loving Colonel Sanders, okay?
Sometimes love hurts.
I guess that's
Hmm.
that's very true.
Big
Especially if you love Metroid or
Kudos.
Star Fox.
Let's not
kudos
go
to
there.
Kudos to the Kentucky Board of Education for
Absolutely.
saving our youth from what has become
It's the High School Athletic Association,
Yeah,
so it's more
a high
like
school athletics.
a bunch of. I imagine like a bunch of coaches.
I saw that their Fortnite here had a gun in it. What?
I would feel kind of weird though, like if I was one of the guys who signed off on that. Like that
Yeah.
would at the very least it gives me pause, and I think if
Yeah.
it gives me pause, it probably isn't something they should do.
Understood.
Anyways, we're going ahead and give you take a quick break. I'm gonna show you guys an ad, and a couple of songs before we return. And we've got some more on some recent Blizzard news that we're going to be covering, but also kind of a deeper discussion about developing games in general. So,
The storm of controversy
Yes.
still rages over Blizzard.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
more like Blizzard, more like Blunders.
Wait,
Just start the music,
if it's
please.
a storm of controversy, wouldn't you say it's a blizzard?
Anyways,
Start the music, please.
these songs, "Bloody Tears" by Rashad E.B. and "Snake Eater" by Cynthia Harrell. So, stay tuned and don't touch that dial.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill, I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light,
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in and listening to Tower Radio. You are listening to The Doghouse with your host, Husky Dingo and Updog.
Hey, what's up, fellow gamers?
And
Like he said, you're listening to the Doghouse.
the song you just listened to was Snake Eater by, let me get this. Yeah, it was Snake Eater from
Cynthia
the Metal
Harrell.
Gear, by Cynthia Harrell from the Metal Gear Solid soundtrack. So, but yeah, when we left off, we just got done with our top of the hour, and we're coming back, and we have some interesting news. Interesting. By interesting, I mean disappointing and wholly awful. Now, at first, when I looked at this, I thought, it would, like you guys thought, we probably couldn't go at it very long. Then I started thinking about how this has followed a recent trend. So
Yeah.
I'll just get into what happened
Mm.
first before I go in any more.
Before you do, 2019, 3 guys, that was us,
That was
went into great detail about how Blizzard basically
Messed
shut down a lot of the people in their tournament scene who were
a lot of people.
making political statements about
In support of Hong Kong.
in support of Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're feels like a follow up to that discussion.
Back at it
honestly.
again? Question mark.
Gosh.
Continued degradation.
Here
of
we
Blizzard.
Here we go.
At once,
They had
once
one good
upon a
game.
time, one of the most venerated and respected developers
One of the
of the
most
modern
like,
age.
powerful too. They had a lot of
Yeah.
money in their pockets.
And now
Mm.
look at him. Playing stooges for corporate China, and they're acting like a Gestapo against their own players. Anyways, I'll just get into it. So this the news is Warcraft Reforged came out. It's a remaster of the strategy game like Warcraft 3 and the expansion Throne. Let's see, what was it? The expansion Frozen Throne. It's a remaster of those games, and as Blizzard games have started to kind of go downhill, this one has not broken that trend. Oh Lord, sorry.
What's wrong with it?
It's
Is-
bad. It's just not. There's a whole slew of issues, but the most recent one that we're talking about today is that
Yeah.
they have this mode where you can kind of let's see. Let me find it. They have this mode where it's called a world editor, and it's basically where you can make maps and game modes. It's like Forge World, but
Ah.
like really, really in depth. So you can like make almost entirely new games from it, right?
That's cool.
That sounds cool.
I guess in an effort to stop the next Dota 2 from somebody making it, they have changed their policy, their user agreement, and it mirrors the same that StarCraft 2's does now. In that, I'll just go over it right here. The intellectual property of your maps, anything that you create. So not just the map itself, like the map, like the intellectual property. Like if you come up with an idea, that belongs to Blizzard. If you put it in the map.
Mm.
They're not required to compensate you in any way if they make use of said intellectual property beyond Warcraft Reforged either. Copyrighted material is not allowed to be used in any custom maps, that's fine, I suppose.
Yeah, that's not as big a deal.
Any content which is deemed inappropriate by Blizzard can be removed at their discretion. And I think what really the worst one is they kind of went out of the gate with the worst one at first,
Mm-hmm.
which is that they own intellectual property. At first, it doesn't sound like a really big thing, but like there's one guy who used to work for them. He's Mark Grums. He used to be one of the heads of Blizzard. He actually was one of the guys who worked on Warcraft and created it back before it kind of went to crap. And he's went on Twitter and he said that Blizzard is doing this because they're afraid of missing the next Dota. So what they're doing is this is one of their plans of kind of trying to make sure that if something is made using their tools, that they have the intellectual property rights to it. Along with that,
Makes sense.
Blizzard is banning users on their forum for helping people who are trying to get Warcraft 3 Reforged refunds. So if you're on their forums and you're telling people how to get these refunds, which apparently it's not just simple, it's some kind of process. If you're on there trying to help people get refunds for Warcraft 3, then they are banning you outright for it from the
What?
forums. Yeah,
That's
From
crazy.
the forums or from like
What?
Blizzard's everything?
from
That's my
banning
big
users
question.
on their official forum.
Okay, so basically they can't tell other people about it.
Yes, I mean, like even like
Hmm.
I know
But-
it's not banning them from their services completely, but that's
Yeah.
still
Well, that
That's
lends
still not a
really-
cool thing
that
to
lends
do. Yeah,
to the
but-
argument that they have deliberately made it difficult to get refunds,
Yeah.
yes.
and that's illegal. that's actually illegal. Like companies have been,
Yeah,
sued for less. Honestly,
and you know you can argue of like why Blizzard is started to fall like this way. There are some people. Mark Grums has commented saying that back when they first made Warcraft, they had a drive and they had a drive to actually make these games good. They wanted to be the best, but now
Yeah.
everybody who worked on the original Warcraft, everybody who was head of Blizzard at the time, they're gone. Completely new staff. So this is not the same Blizzard that we know, and I think this
Mhm.
speaks to a larger trend that we've been seeing within the AAA developers. It's just that game developers who were really really on their game at the beginning of the 2000s or the 2010s, the people respected things like BioWare. Let me see.
Activision's one.
Activision. Well, sort of. I would think Activision still was
They were
generally received well
yeah.
at the beginning. Of
they
this.
were a bigger hit still, even though they had like a hit and miss kind of record. They were most of the time, I think, on the positive side
yeah.
of things.
People didn't associate them with scum yet. so.
Yeah, exactly. If we're talking early days, especially, Activision was still pretty safe.
But let me see.
I'm trying to think of other ones like that are technically good.
Bungie, Bethesda, Ubisoft,
Yeah.
BioWare. Those are all companies that have kind of at the beginning they were at the beginning of the 2010s or even at the beginning of the 2000s, along with Blizzard. They were really high up there on their game and the quality of game that they put out. But
Mhm.
recently they've just kind of deteriorated, and it's a weird larger trend that we're seeing. But with that larger trend, just as they stepped up to replace some of the big developers of their time,
Mhm.
we're seeing a lot of new developers step up. So I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on this as far as that goes? Because I know we're seeing these shaking up of these AAA titles. Like people aren't going out to buy things just because they're photorealistic or just because they're made by Ubisoft or whatever. Like there are people that are out there, and to some extent there are people who like that. Like Activision still makes some of the best selling games of all time. Like of this last decade, Call of Duty was dominated the top 10 list of the most sold games of 2010s.
Right.
So you have to think.
I think
Yeah.
a big part of it is, I think maybe at the beginning of the decade, gaming looked really different from how it does now. Like the changes in technology have kind of lent themselves to a more competitive games market, especially with the growing like gamer market that we've kind of seen. I mean, like we've got esports now, like that's a big thing. We've got we've got like real life attractions for video games, like the famous Atari Hotel.
The culture is expanding.
That is real.
Yeah.
It's becoming more mainstream. So I think the like a much more competitive market. Maybe some companies are like having trouble keeping up.
That might be why the culture within these companies are changing too, because as like the market
Mm.
gets bigger and bigger, these companies become more and more like traditional companies that we see. There's a lot of cutthroat stuff that goes on to try to get to these markets, and
Mm.
you can see that just in the way what's the name? Not Dice. Who handles Battlefront right now?
Battlefront
Dice.
right now.
Dice.
Yeah, I think it is Dice. Yeah.
Dice. Okay, yeah. The way that Dice handles Battlefront, and that an IP that was like at the beginning of the 2010s and even before that,
Yeah.
people love that. People love Battlefront and Battlefront 2. And now you look at it now and it's awful.
I think even when
definitely
it
not the
came out,
same.
that game was really gutted in terms of content. It
Mm.
really was just like the massive like PvP matches. That was
and
it.
even the second one that's not like as if the story was anything to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was another corporate decision. Like, okay, we're not gonna have we're gonna only have the PvP because that's what players want. It's like, oh no, they'd say they pay more money if we put in a story mode, so we're gonna put that in, but it's half baked. I think Bethesda is a really weird case study kind of in this because they made Skyrim, which is one of the best selling games of all time. I really like it too. And then they re-released that game like 6 or 7 times. They made Fallout 4, which was the most bland like Fallout game to date. It was like a reskin of Skyrim. And now like then they completely, messed the bed with Fallout 76. And now the next like Elder Scrolls game is said to have the same engine as Skyrim. So you got to look at it and kind of wonder like it wasn't a money problem, I don't think. There was definitely there were decisions that were made to deliberately trick people.
Yeah.
It seems like.
I agree. It's strange because these games. It's not as if these games are like suffering from people not buying them. There are people that are still going out and buying them, but it's just. You think there's any way back from this kind of culture that's been fostered in the development community? Because like at the beginning, if we're seeing a transition from these big companies, and I think people are starting to realize it a little bit now, but there's still people that are going out and buying things like the latest Call of Duty. And like Call of Duty could be good, but generally like it's been rendered to stuff that's mostly filled with loot boxes and stuff.
Yeah. I want to say that as far as this cycle continuing, I would say yes. I think it's going to continue. And here's my thing about it. So as far as the bigger companies go, we get a lot more news based off of them because they're a bigger company. Makes sense, right? As far as the smaller guys, like a great example now, I think, is a lot of the indie developers that we have.
Your Chucklefish and Yacht Gaming.
And your Yacht Gaming, stuff like that.
A lot of them are water-based for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get that. But anyway, a lot of them, like some of them have a little bit more hype, like Yacht Gaming especially because Shovel Knight. But they're really good developers that are starting to have fan bases grow around the development themselves. And it's a similar thing to what I think happened with these bigger developers back in time. In 2000s, they weren't necessarily called indies, and they weren't necessarily like them. But it was something similar where they started making pretty good games, and people started surrounding them as fans. And so I think the fans are going to realize, oh, they aren't doing what they used to do, but here's an indie developer, or here's just a new developer. Like I think Platinum Games is starting to step up a lot.
Yeah.
But here are developers that are starting to do what we wanted these guys to do, like what they were doing. And so they'll just continue the consumer / fans. They're going to continue following what they want. And if these bigger companies want to continue surviving and making money, eventually they're going to have to realize that they have to go back to how they were doing things. And if they want to enhance the market, they need to enhance it with the users in mind. So
I think
that's my thought process.
As far as indie developers go, it's really I've kind of been following this for the last like 12 years ever since I bought Steam, like on my crappy old computer. But like, it seems like as indie games were kind of relegated to Steam, and like as Steam got more popular, indie games started to actually like the sales of indie games have almost seemed to drop on Steam, which would make you think like, oh, they're not selling as many, but it actually means that like the market on Steam was becoming like more and more competitive as the years went on, until finally like almost like a virus, like Shovel Knight like evolved and adapted to infect other consoles.
Yep.
And kind of broke ground for like indie games to, become much more of a mainstream kind of thing. So these retro kind of nostalgia inspired games, I think, put a lot more pressure than we like to think of on AAA studios.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because like you can even hearken the way Shovel, not exactly obviously, but the way Shovel Knight kind of like started. It didn't just break ground for indie games, kind of expanding to other consoles. We've seen like a complete renaissance of platforms,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
platformers
Oh, yeah.
as well.
Hard as nails, like NES inspired platforms are really popular right now.
Hollow Knight's
Yeah.
one of them, and I'm pretty sure
I gotta
Like-
play that.
games that come out, games that kind of break that mold and are able to like break that ceiling. You know, they inspire games that follow them, and you could even say like that's what games that Bungie and Blizzard released did initially. Like there were a lot of Warcraft.
Mm.
When Warcraft came out, nothing like it had been done yet, and then now you have there's a
Yeah.
MMO like
Yeah. No.
for
It created
everybody.
MMO. I think the biggest thing to
Right.
remember is like the companies themselves don't make the games. It's studios full of individuals who actually
Right.
care about stuff. Like I think that the thing to remember in this kind of discussion is that quality is always going to be king. Like
Right.
I hate the stuff Bethesda's been doing, but I'm gonna pick up Doom Eternal as soon as it comes out on May
Right.
20th.
And it's weird because like you have that kind of like almost like cognitive you have that dissonance in between like what the rest of Bethesda is doing and then like what the Doom
Yeah.
team is doing, and it's weird and it's hard. Doom has done a very good job of separating itself from the Bethesda name. Like it's still going to be on there when you open it up, but you're not thinking
It's
of this
true.
is a Bethesda game. You're thinking
Yeah.
this is a Doom game, and
Mhm.
it's interesting because it's hard whenever you work at a place like Blizzard to separate yourself from Blizzard. And when it's individuals who might have good intentions working at these big companies, sometimes the big companies just
They don't have people's interests at heart. They have the interests of the company, which
yes.
honestly, that's what companies are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I
but
think
it can get to the detriment of the
Yeah.
game itself, and we can even see that outside of the gaming
employees,
industry
the
and like the
game.
film industry.
yeah, I
and
think
stuff.
like we saw kind of like I think we saw how far this can go with the EA lawsuits a couple years ago, like to the point where the government had to step in and say like, okay, this is as far as you go.
Yeah.
Gambling is not okay. You can't trick children into spending money online. But like
Mhm.
I think the key thing that always seems to pop out for me, like even bigger companies like Atlas is an example, like clearly Persona 5. Atlas is like a pretty big company now, but clearly Persona, like as a series, has always been like a labor of love.
Mhm.
And like even the worst Nintendo game, you can tell like people actually really cared about the art
Right.
that went into the game. So
Well,
Yeah.
and it's weird, but like the bigger franchises get, almost you can even say Pokemon. This is one of the best-selling Pokemon.
Yeah.
In recent memory.
Yeah.
Like
No, it
It
is.
topped the Switch sales list from what I remember.
It was number 5. It's number 5 on the top 10 games.
Right.
So it's definitely
yeah,
sold a lot.
Pokemon's a weird case, and like
I think it sold more than any other Pokemon game almost now.
probably that makes sense.
I
But,
want to
like,
say.
Pokemon is a weird case, like where they're very nostalgia heavy, and they're very into making like basically as few changes as it seems like they have to in order to, you know, keep games on like a basic level of Pokemon. Like they don't want to go too far outside their comfort zone, which is really disappointing. I'd like to see like a Breath of the Wild Pokemon game, but that will probably never happen.
Mm.
You know?
That's what people were hoping Sword and Shield was going to be when,
Yeah.
when they initially saw it.
Yeah.
And technically the DLC is going to be that, but I mean, that's the DLC. It's not the full game.
Yeah. Why are they
So-
pushing DLC? They already released two of the same game, really.
Well, they're also going to get this DLC for 2 of the same game.
Exactly. It's
But-
so
just to clarify about numbers real quick, it is. I'm trying to think of numbers. So X and Y is the best 3DS selling Pokemon game, and it's at 16.44 million. And Sword and Shield for Switch is at 16.06 million. So it's already almost caught up to X and Y,
that's nice.
which is
Excellent.
I think X and Y is the best selling Pokemon game. So
I
it's
think-
close.
I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing I'm getting from this is like back in the day, Blizzard could do like anything they wanted. Probably they were inventing
Right.
new types of games,
Yeah.
and everyone was playing them because there was nothing really else like it to play. But
Mhm.
now we live in a world where one guy can make a farming simulator in his basement, give it to an indie corporation, and they sell 12 million copies in a couple of years. Like
Mhm.
I can't even imagine how competitive that market is, where just someone could just sit down on their computer, like make a game, and it becomes like viral instantly.
Well, it's not like it's weird because like a lot of indie games they're not priced at like $60. So
No.
like you're gonna probably you can probably look on your Steam library and look at how many indie games like you've
Oh
bought.
goodness.
Right.
Like I can just name
Same.
two, like 3 off the top. You've got Hollow Knight, you got every single Shovel Knight thing, and you've got Stardew Valley. Those are just 3 off the top of my head that I
Rivals
know
is
you
technically indie, so
have. And you've got Rise of the
Yep.
Apparently, I've got 37 games on my Steam library.
Yeah, so it's
I
like
can tell you, I've got
it's
similar
highly
thing.
competitive, but it's also like people are going to pick up your game because they're generally cheaper. But it's weird because we find ourselves at a like a really weird part of the gaming industry that we haven't been yet. Because the gaming industry is still, in terms of like history of like where it is, it's pretty young in
Mhm.
comparison. Because like you got like other industries which have gone through like these like kind of cycles of like development as they go on, and this is kind of the first like integral like. Now you've got the big companies that you know that like that are up there. You've got you've got the Exxon, you've got the Shell, like you're up there.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing like these little ones kind of sift to the top and trying to
Yeah.
find their way to the top. And it's interesting because I don't think we're gonna see something like this in the industry again at this point, like something exactly like this,
Mhm.
because I don't. We're gonna see it again in a different form, but it'll be
I think
Yeah.
what might happen is
this
instead
is the first
of
time this is
yeah.
happening, is what I mean.
yeah.
I think I have no evidence for this, but it's possible we might see larger corporations or game companies just buying up indie titles and
Mm.
selling them to consumers instead of
We know that
They're just doing it
Microsoft
themselves.
tried to do that at some point. They bought a whole bunch of development studios, but
Yeah.
nothing really came of it. Well,
Yeah.
nothing came of it yet because we've still got. I think they're probably gonna wait to drop all of those on the next console release.
That makes sense too.
That's what I'd do if I were them.
Yeah.
At this point, nobody wants to buy an
Yeah.
Xbox One.
And honestly, I think one of the magical things that we touched on about indie games is their relatively cheaper price.
Right.
So my only concern as far as bigger companies doing that, because initially I think of that and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's awesome. Like if Nintendo bought Yacht Club Games, that would be amazing. I think that'd be a strategic business move.
right.
But also that could come at the cost of it costing more to
Yeah.
buy the game.
we're singing
So-
we're singing the praises of like indie games really hard, but at the same time, like not
Even smaller developers.
yeah. There's a lot of really bad games that come out of Steam.
But
like,
those don't
that's fair.
yeah.
succeed.
I think
Like,
even
the
the
market
yeah,
corrects itself.
even the majority
Yeah.
of Steam games are bad. So like again, quality is always going to be
Yeah.
the king, and I think
Mm-hmm.
the thing that equals quality for like games across the board is just
Yeah.
actually caring and being excited about
Yeah.
what you're making.
It's the problem
Also
of
time.
It's also
Yeah, time.
It's the problem of like I think once you've gotten the quality and you've become established, like yacht games, I think they're still technically indie, but they're established.
Mhm.
Right.
What does it take for a company that has a good record, has made a lot of games, to start declining, like Bungie, like Bethesda, like Blizzard, like BioWare,
At the very
like
least,
Ubisoft?
yeah. At the very least, it seems like they have to be international.
Yeah,
That seems
yeah.
to be a factor
Right.
in it.
but you know, I'm just happy that like I'm hoping that like I'm glad that even though we have a lot of developers that are kind of floundering
Mhm.
at the bigger AAA developers that we're
Mhm.
finding, we still see new developers that like still have that drive. It's not as if the whole industry has shifted towards cash grinding. You got like
Exactly.
you got Atlas, who releases all the Persona games. You got CD Projekt Red, who like I'm not a super big fan of the Witcher stuff, but I still recognize that they put a lot of work into it, and it's a
Mm.
passion project, and they did it because they
Yeah.
wanted to be the best. And I'm looking forward to the next thing, Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm like, dude, there've been some really crappy games, and like some of the companies are doing really bad. But like, I mean, this decade we've seen some of the best like evolution of gaming as a medium
Yeah.
like ever.
Mhm.
Like games are becoming the really popular games, like the big AAA games that are really popular and do well, are more and more like movies.
I'm
Or
just
like-
yeah,
Yeah, which is I think is a step forward.
it is. It's a step forward as far as like the right now. I'm more. I think what I'm concerned about, and I'm trying to put it in a concise manner, and I know I'm kind of jumping everywhere, but I'm worried. Like, is it going to feed the trend of these companies getting bigger and bigger and start declining in quality, or is the quality going to win out and like more and more companies are they going to
see
be
what you're
awarded with
saying now.
passion projects?
I think we will see more companies that do passion projects being the ones to survive. Because you remember
Yeah.
the console wars? Like Sega doesn't make their own stuff anymore
Yeah,
because
no more
their
consoles.
games got worse and worse, and the consoles got worse and worse. And like Atari is the same way, and
Mhm.
Capcom is not doing too well either. Like a lot of these companies just,
Monster
I
Hunter.
feel like maybe we're
Yeah,
maybe
they're working it.
like
Yeah.
maybe history repeats itself. Maybe we're kind of this is our kind of, I guess not console war yet, but like
Company
a
war.
content war, I guess.
Yes. I fought in the console wars along with your father. He was the best. He was the best Sega Genesis player I ever knew.
was crushed by the Sega Saturn.
He was killed by Bubsy.
Bubsy.
No. I will find him and get revenge for my father.
But
They say he's out
Yeah.
there in the steam jungles.
so back on topic real quick.
Yeah.
I think I really do agree with Logan. Really, in the end, the quality is going to overrun the I just want money, so I'm going to make this game really quick. Especially as far as companies are concerned. Like something we talked about a little bit was Nintendo, which that's the big name we really haven't thrown around a lot in this conversation yet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Granted, they do make some bad decisions. A good one, for example, recently I think even was something about their refunds situation. I don't remember exactly what the thing was, but basically it was an online. You buy this game online, it's going to be a little bit harder to refund because of that, because you technically sign a contract at that point. I don't remember exactly what it was, but to me it actually made sense. It wasn't stupid and scummy like it seems Blizzard is being.
Sure.
But to get off of that real quick, Nintendo is a company that has not stopped putting their heart into most of their games. Even the games that I'm not a huge fan of, like Color Splash, Paper Mario Color Splash, you can see the heart in that game. And I can still commend Nintendo for stuff like
See,
that.
I swear I kind of disagree because I don't think Nintendo wants to make like passion. I think
Mhm.
bottom line they're like we want the money, but they understand that they gotta if they hire people who want to make good games, that they're going to get that bottom line. And I think
Yeah.
like as long as there are developers like that who always want to make a good game instead of people who get into it just because it's a booming business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was rolling to.
I-
Is even though they are a big company that wants money, as long as you can have the people that do have that passion to work for you,
Yeah,
you're fine.
it's
You're
weird.
golden.
Sure.
It's weird because like before this decade, mostly what we talked about was like the big blunders of the gaming world were games that were like they weren't really like super on the radar and they kind of sucked.
Sonic
Yeah.
06.
Like Sonic, Sonic 06, but like
I knew it
you
was
know
coming.
even before that, like we had like E.T. the E.T. game.
Yeah.
Like those games weren't like
Oh.
those games weren't cash grabs, they were just bad. But now we've got games that like they lure you in, they look really pretty, like Jedi Fallen Order. Like they
Mhm.
release a whole bunch of trailers like super cinematic, like oh man, it's like a movie, and you got conferences like you got these big conferences and they kind of pull you in. And they're trying to pull you in, but then the game's it's just lifeless. Like
Yeah.
you can see like the difference, like the trend between The Force Awakened and then the Force Unleashed and the Force Unleashed 2.
Oh goodness, yeah. You can see a huge difference in those two
Like
games.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That for me that perfectly, or even like just watching the Assassin's Creed games, just like
Mhm.
That's a perfect example of just watching something trip and fall
Die.
down its flight of stairs.
it's
But yeah,
that hurts. That
yeah.
hurt.
I don't even think we can include Nintendo in this because they're so well established and their brands are so strong.
They've
That's
been
fair.
around that they
Like-
know how to avoid
I mean,
throwing themselves upon
Yeah.
the rocks.
I mean,
Well, I think it's good to look at the people that have established themselves to see how these other companies can do the
Yeah.
same.
I think
So-
I can't even imagine what working on a Nintendo game must be like. But like,
Gotta
you
be
look
fun.
at it's got to be really cool. But like, you look at games like Mario Odyssey, and it's like you can tell somebody who sat down and was like, okay, first of all, we are making a Mario game,
Mhm.
so we need to make sure we don't screw this one up, or we don't want to end up like Sunshine. Okay, let's just keep our heads on and be focused. And like Breath of the Wild too, like it's riskier than maybe making another Legend of Zelda game, but you can tell like they had a vision in their minds, like we want to bring back the first Zelda game for this next generation of people. Like, I guess what I'm saying is there's a maybe not passion, but there's definitely like a level of care that is taken with these games that I'm not seeing in some of the
Maybe like desire almost.
yeah, like Nintendo games kind of whenever I play one, I feel like just looking at the game design, it feels like they looked at the last game that they made, like I guess from Odyssey. It's like they looked at Galaxy 2 and they're like, okay, what can we do to like push this forward and make it better? Whereas companies like EA or Activision kind of sit down and say like, okay, what can we get away with?
Right.
Yeah.
How
And,
far?
well, it's weird because Activision, they do some scummy stuff a lot of times, but they've done some good things for the company. And by the way, I don't even know if it was all their fault what happened with Bungie and Destiny because
Yeah, that's true.
they left that in Bungie's hands and it has only gotten worse. But they're the ones who produced my game of the year for last year, Sekiro.
yeah,
That's
Like
true.
they had a
yeah.
hand in that. Like I feel like these games, they aren't evil. They just see trends and they follow trends.
you know, getting on. How do you guys feel about Smash Brothers?
Blizzard is evil though.
How do you guys feel about Smash Brothers putting in more DLC for this? You know, because like on one hand, I feel like they probably like I'm excited for new characters, but on the other one, I kind of wonder like, is this the first like kind of
Is this the first Strand game?
is this the first Stranded game? Is this the first kind of like weird move that we're seeing from? Like I feel like the game could. There's too many characters
mean,
already, honestly.
Yeah, they're trying to extend its life cycle a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
It's like I've been saying, and I've said something along these lines for a while. Like the biggest thing I've said recently is if Sora gets in this Smash, I don't need another one. And I think that's what I'm going to kind of point out here is if they put in all the characters that everybody wants to be in Smash for this one Smash game, I don't think there will ever be a Smash game that comes close to this one. There won't be. This is going to be the penultimate Smash game.
what I want.
And so if you get these characters, then you have the ultimate experience and you won't ever have to get another one. in my
Briefly,
opinion.
what I want for the next Smash game, I don't want as many characters. I just want more like investment in the actual mechanics and making this as clean and ungimmicky as possible. The next game, that's what I would want in the next game.
Yeah.
I think smoothing out that
Yeah.
experience. would
Now
be
that
great.
now that I think about it, like this Smash game is kind of a celebration of
yeah,
Exactly.
gaming in general. So I don't know. It's a weird case. We're in new territory as far
strange
as this
stuff.
one goes.
it'll be interesting to see how these game developing develops. How game
That's what you did
developing
there.
changes and evolves in the next decade.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in 10 years from now, we'll still be in the exact same
I'm
spot.
cautiously optimistic.
I'm optimistic in general. I think it'll be fine at the end of the day. Like especially as far as good developers, they're going to keep coming.
Sure.
There's not going to be a stop, I don't think, of good people who make good games.
And if it does stop, I guess I'm gonna have to learn how to code.
Yeah.
Eli, I need a dozen hand drawn
You-
sprites by the end of the day.
You guys can all be really enthusiastic and optimistic about this next decade. But 6 of the best top selling games of the last decade were like Call of Duty.
I know.
Gaming is mainstream now, baby.
Everything is
That's
meaningless,
why.
and we
but-
will all fade in forever darkness. No.
Goodness. Sweet.
But no, I'm hoping that it's going to turn out like you guys say. Who knows how it actually is? But
Mhm.
bottom line is, we've got a lot of advancements in video games, but we've also had a lot of blunders, like video games physically trying to kill you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But who knows how it'll go?
We'll see.
Bottom
do,
line is,
But I'm not telling.
we do have a lot of developers that are popping up, a lot of developers that are bringing a lot of good games, a lot of games that are coming out this year. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to set up the song list, and then we are going to talk about. Where is the mouse? I have 3 screens. How am I supposed to keep up with this little thing? We're
You
going
can
to
shake
talk
it.
about our more anticipated games of next year, and I guess
This
we
year
have
and next,
time
like
We'll just like,
of this year.
if you want, I can talk about that really quick. Like really quick. Because I think I probably have the most experience with this other topic you're speaking of.
We'll talk about it more on the break.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll be right back. We're going to play Logan. What should we or Updog? What should we play? I'm gonna touch
Life will change.
this one. This one.
Yeah, that
Alright.
one. That's a good
All
song.
right. We're gonna be playing "Life Will Change" cover by Little V, and I'm gonna pick this one.
All right.
And Monster Hunter, and a little bit of Monster Hunter jazz. So stay tuned. Enjoy the serenade. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, alright, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
It's not a game. I'm not a robot. AI challenging you. I'm not a phantom. I'm in your face and I'm here to see it through. Right before your eyes, watch us multiply. Come to claim our rights. It's time. As our power grows, try to stop the shows. You might as well go try and stop time. So you know that we're out there, swatting lies in the making. Can't move fast without breaking. Can't hold
Hey, everybody.
Boom.
Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to the Tower Radio. You're listening to The Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
Hey, what's up, fellow gamers? Like you said, you're listening to The Doghouse.
Bark, bark.
We just got done
Woof.
covering some.
Give
We just
me-
got done having a very interesting conversation about game development. Stop looking at me like that. I don't like it. What are you doing?
Give me dog chow, father.
What are you doing?
Yes, we just got out of a great discussion. Started with Blizzard, how they kind of had a blunder, and we kind of got into a very deep, very thoughtful, very thought-provoking discussion about game development, the future of it, what we can see in the next decade, what we have seen in the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
Man, you sure did miss out if you weren't there for that. That's basically that was our best segment ever.
I don't
If you
know
missed
what.
out,
You will
just
never have that back unless you watch us on YouTube
that's what I was gonna
after
say.
the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Mid-tier.
I don't know what we're gonna talk about now, guys. We talked about all the bad stuff that happened. It's like we got nothing left.
It's
What are we gonna
over.
do?
All right,
It's
guys.
over.
Well, I guess that's the show.
I guess
Thank
that's
you
the-
for
I guess we
watching.
have to stop doing Doghouse.
Dog pack has to pack it up. We're heading out. We're going on the road.
I guess
like
we have to
seeing
go to
where
the
the road
Atari
takes us.
Hotel.
Oh, what's this? I found something.
What? What is it?
It's Hope, and in it is the most anticipated games of 2020.
That's right. It
Ooh.
is still January for the next few hours,
Yep.
and even now we've seen like a bunch of announcements from last year and this month
Yeah.
just alone of some really cool games
It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be
that are
good.
coming out this year. They could be good. I hope they're good.
I hope so too.
We're all deep in anticipation, up to our necks in anticipation
This much.
for these games. We're gonna talk about all of them, our best picks for this year.
Cool.
Who wants to go first?
Okay, I will guess I will go first since mine are kind of layups. They're kind of expected a little bit. I think people pretty much know.
All right.
First one is Ghost of Tsushima. This is supposed to come out this year. May not. 'cause
Oh,
we know how
okay.
these games go, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come out this year. But I really like Sekiro. This was announced around the same time as Sekiro.
Oh yeah, it was very
So,
close.
I'm really looking forward to this. The combat looks really in depth and amazing. And y'all know how I love convoluted and hard combat systems.
He is a Monster Hunter fan. After all.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, but you took it.
I don't know if it's actually a convoluted.
Nice.
I mean, congratulations, you got the layup. Great. I was queued you up for that one. You guys want to do a little jig too? You want to dance
Here we
around
go.
the
Hold
table?
on. I'll dance
Oh,
like
look
a.
at the Switch! Look at the Shovel Knight guy go! Now the Kingdom Hearts guys go! Oh wow!
Okay,
I'm
cool.
done.
The darkness
Continue.
has
Do
only
your
just
list. Come
begun.
on. Hurry up.
Ghost of Tsushima. It looks really fun. Like I really love reading, like doing anything that has to do with history, especially Japanese history, because it's really brutal and it's really chaotic, and I don't really understand it reading it. So I'm hoping if I play a video game about it.
Gamer history.
It's really convoluted. Like honestly, I know this is a little bit of sidetrack, but Lord, like so much going on at any one time, at any one point in time. Anyways, yeah, I'm really excited to hear more about this game. Just from the gameplay I observed, it looked really fun, visceral. There's a lot of impact. I like games that like, give weight to the characters and what they do, and this looks like it does that. Obviously, it comes in an interesting time in history when the Mongols invaded Japan.
When's that coming out?
Sometime this year.
Yeah, supposedly.
Great.
We're not positive on it, but it's supposed to come out sometime
It's a
this year.
mystery.
Yeah, but there's one that we do have a more concrete date for because they just rescheduled it to later. Right now it's April 16th, 2020 for this game. Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay. I am quietly watching this game like with anticipation, but at the same time, I'm
As you
kinda
should.
Like, this could be really good or really bad.
I don't get hyped for games anymore. I try to because the last few games that I got hyped for have thoroughly disappointed me. But nevertheless, I anticipate it because it looks like it's bringing a lot to the table.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what it can do. Dang, what else is there to say? But there's just, and they're already saying that they're delaying it so that they can fill out the map because apparently it's going to be a really expansive game. So I'm expecting a lot of game for my buck.
Yeah.
Let's hope that's true. Plus, I really like the setting. It'll be interesting.
It's all based on this tabletop game that's really fun.
We should play it sometime.
Yeah.
I like tabletops.
But yeah,
This is this really quick. One of the things you can do in the tabletop game is like one of the features in it is like it's like a dystopian future. And one of the things and one of the factions you can meet are these gangs called posers, and like everyone, the idea is everyone in the gang goes through like facial surgery to look like a celebrity. One of the ones in the guidebook is the Kennedys. Can you imagine walking down an alley and a gang of Kennedys just attacks you from the darkness? I hope that's in the game. That
Me
would be
too.
sick.
It's interesting to see what kind of
Oh my
because
goodness.
they've kind of left it open, and I'm pretty sure it's going to play a lot like the board game in terms of aesthetic and what you can encounter. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
not going to play like a board game because it's
Yeah.
a shooter, but I really hope that they capture that essence because it looks from what it looks like, the city is really dense, not only like laterally but vertically.
Yeah.
It's really dense vertically. There's a lot of stuff, and you just hyper dense. I love
Yeah.
stuff like that. I just really hope it doesn't become like Assassin's Creed did, where like you get or GTA where you get like a little marker on your map, have all these like little objectives that you have to go fill out until
Yeah.
the map is clean, and you resell the game for $10.
I think-
I like those, but I don't like it whenever it's the same thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I really want something unique. I don't want it to like Watchdog it up. Watchdog one it
Yeah,
up.
I think at the very least, Keanu Reeves is in it, and if I can translate that to movies, it could be really good, it could be really bad, but it will definitely be really, really weird and different. So,
That's true.
I mean,
It's a fair point.
you're
Get up,
breathtaking.
Samurai. We've got a city burned. Samurai's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Very confused.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
But yeah, those are mine anticipated games.
I can go ahead and jump on mine real quick. I won't talk a lot about all mine.
Do it,
It's just-
Dingo.
Do
I've
it,
got some
you
interesting ones.
fool.
You fool.
You fell
Okay.
right into my trap.
I knew it. Anyway, so I'll start out with Animal Crossing New Horizon. This one's got a bit of a personal reason for it. My fiance Allison is really big into Animal Crossing and wants to play it on the Switch. And so this is a game that I think I want to play with her. You know, I've never played Animal Crossing, and maybe we'd have fun. I don't know.
I think Animal Crossing is definitely fun,
Yeah.
but it's a slow burn. I think I think the people who pick up this game are probably going to be playing it for the next decade, so this is the perfect time to start, I guess.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead, like I said, I'm going to be pretty quick with some of them. Some of them I'm going to talk a little more. one of them I'm going to talk a little bit more about is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, which, as of this moment, is supposedly slotted for the summer of 2020. I'm really excited for this game for a few reasons. One of them is I never got to play the original GameCube release. This is a game that I was super interested in playing because I had a GameCube and I liked Final Fantasy, but it was also one of the weird ones where you really needed friends to play it, it seemed. And so a lot of times I might have friends over at my house, but it wouldn't be a constant thing. And whenever it comes to RPGs, I like playing them all a lot. So
Yeah.
it was a hard decision to not get that game, even as a kid. But now that I'm older and it has an online function, I mean, I hang out with my friends a lot more now than I did when I was a kid, which is funny. But anyway, so there's that. And also, if you want to, I think you can technically form a party with people online. And so there's a lot of really cool things that they're adding to this game that make me really excited for it. And it looks like a lot of fun. So I'm excited. Whenever I get this game, I've thought about having you two and Nathan play it with me, just so we can kind of all test it out and maybe even give it a review the next show. But
I'm always down to play something.
we'll see how that happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, next up on my list is a pretty clear one. Final Fantasy to Final Fantasy. This one being Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is a game that I've been anticipating since it was announced. I saw the first trailer for it and was hyped because I can't go back to Final Fantasy VII, man. It was a good game at the time. I played 9 before I played 7 too, and in my opinion, I thought 9 had a better system. But this remake looks like it's going to kind of streamline a few things, and it's going to make it a lot more fun in my eyes. Like, I think the combat looks very similar to 15 and to Kingdom Hearts and how it's doing things. And those are both games I really enjoy. So I'm excited for this game, and I hope that this is also a game you guys try out. Maybe.
What I'm hoping for from that Final Fantasy remake, because that's not one of my most anticipated, but I am
Curious.
I am
Maybe.
curious.
I don't know.
It titillates my curiosity. One might say.
Okay.
Please don't say titillate.
Please no.
It piques my curiosity.
There you go.
The reason I'm interested is because Final Fantasy 15. It was a game. I thought it had a lot of good stuff. I thought it had a lot of bad stuff.
That's fair.
Bad stuff is it had a lot of assets that I'm pretty sure not pretty sure, I know it ripped off the sites that created 3D assets.
Yeah.
Dungeons that made no sense. And then some dungeons that were really, really well put together, and I loved them. They were really well crafted, and I'm like, this is beautiful. This little dungeon tells a story in itself inside this larger thing. There were like cool stuff like that, and there was like math stuff. Combat was good, but it was I don't know.
Yeah.
I get mixed signals from the combat. Point is, there was a good
That's
game
fair.
in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
It was waiting to come out, and it was waiting to be a great game.
It just never happened.
I really hope, as overrated as I think Final Fantasy VII is,
Yes.
one of the most overrated Final Fantasies of all time.
As a Final Fantasy fan, I agree. 500 million%.
I really don't know. I've stayed away from Final Fantasy as much as possible after I played the first one, which was fine.
I heard 6 is good.
6 is good. 4 is good. 9 is good.
I have a friend who loves 10. The one with
10 is yes.
The one with
That's actually got a really good story context.
Yes, I know. It was just fun.
Yeah.
To me.
But I don't
Anyways,
know the
It is
story,
funny
so
meme.
it's funny
Anyways.
to me.
I'm saying.
I really hope that what they do is that they take the concept that was Final Fantasy 15, they put it, they iron it out with this remake, and they kind of
Expand.
ground the story a little bit more, characterize a little bit better.
Yeah. From the trailers, it looks like they are doing that.
Right.
So.
Don't make Cloud as much of a little baby boy. God. I hate.
Do you
that's one
know the
thing
story of 7?
That's one reason I know the scene that you're about to talk about. Please do not talk about it
I
on
don't-
my
I don't-
Christian radio show.
I don't know if. Wait, which one are you talking about?
The one where he dressed up like a girl. Dang it!
No!
I did it.
I wasn't gonna talk about that scene.
Okay.
I was gonna talk about the
Is that
whole.
all of your top of the hours?
No,
I
a
mean,
second.
Do you have?
I have more
What's
anticipated
happening?
games. I'm sorry.
I'm about
Hurry
to get,
up,
I'm about to
please.
get back into it.
Yeah, I'm
Jeez.
gonna let him finish.
Calm down.
I'll let him finish real
Too
quick.
stressed. Anyways, what I'm really hoping for is that they streamline this, and that they kind of refine the formula that they made in Final Fantasy 15. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it gets. I think how you're looking at Cyberpunk 2077 is really how I'm looking at Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I don't know what to expect, but I'm braced for either way, and I'm gonna wait to see what you think when you play it.
We'll see, man. I'm
But yeah.
hoping, as you can tell.
Yeah. What's your next one?
My next one is going to be Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. This is a game that I've never played, and it's funny enough, this game's already out in Japan for Switch. And yeah, I know, it was a launch title for the Switch actually in Japan, but it still isn't out here in the West. And so I'm just excited for it to come over because I like the Dragon Quest series as a series. And this is like a hack and slash version of Dragon Quest. And I was like, that just sounds awesome
That does sound
to me.
cool.
I'm like, that's fine. So I'm really pumped for that game. I think it's going to be good.
Is it like a 3D or is it like RPG overhead or like what does it look like?
I think it looks like this is gonna sound bad, but I gotta explain a little bit. It's like the Warrior games, kind of, and how it looks.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
But it has an RPG aspect in terms of you can, if I remember correctly from looking at it a while back, I probably should have looked at it a little bit more. But I think you can also like stop in a moment and like cast spells or use skills. So it's got a little bit of both in a way. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts in that way.
Okay.
But it's a lot more stagnated, I think. But it still looks fun. Like that was my
that
biggest
sounds
thing.
really interesting.
My last good anticipated game, and yes, I have one I anticipate to be bad. But my last good one is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. This was an amazing game, and if they can just make it better than it was, because when it came out, it was revolutionary and it was amazing. And looking at it now, it's ugly and slow. And
so bad, but it's good for the time.
Exactly.
From what I've heard.
And so if they can just make it faster as far as the combat's concerned, especially, because movement wasn't bad, but combat was slow. And so if you can speed up the combat a little bit, and it already looks pretty, like no bad stuff from that. So as long as they speed up combat, it's going to be the best version of that game. Just no ifs, ands, or buts.
What if they like you started it up and like they couldn't figure out how to make combat faster, so you start it up, it gets you the first like cutscene, and then it just like gets in. And it's just The Witcher 3, but with like a Shulk skin over Geralt.
I've never played Witcher 3, so I don't know how I'd feel about it.
Wind's howling. Looks like it's gonna rain.
It's Monotone
Get
time.
back, you filth.
Anyway, but I mean, honestly, if they took some inspiration from X and 2, I wouldn't be too upset. Like, they don't have to have it exactly like 1's combat system was, because I think 2 had some cool ideas with what they did.
Sure.
So.
They'll probably put some new stuff in there. At the very least, there'll be new costumes or DLC that they'll throw your way.
There's definitely new
from
content.
the last few games,
Because from what we saw from the one trailer we've had of it so far, is they are releasing what was unreleased on the Wii, which is the Bionis shoulder, I believe it is. So that was something that was supposed to be in the original game but never came out.
The Wii couldn't handle it. They're like, this
Yeah.
is a game made for bowling virtually that can't take this.
Yeah, seriously. But anyway,
Destroying my machine.
So I have one game that I anticipate to be a bad game, or at least mediocre. Excuse me. And that is Marvel's Avengers. I've just looking at the news of this game and seeing all the updates and stuff. It just looks like a flashy, wow, Marvel hero game. And you could do a lot with Marvel. You could do a lot with Marvel as far as gaming is concerned. And the sad thing is, I feel like LEGO has done the best with Marvel gaming in a while, except for Ultimate Alliance. That'll be the only exception.
I think LEGO's done the best. Like Marvel, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter.
I don't want a good Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I don't either, really.
Game.
But
that's kind of what Nathan Drake is for, I guess.
Like fake.
Yeah.
Or
I don't
Tomb
know.
Raider.
I don't feel like that fits on a game.
No, it doesn't.
Aside from Lego.
But
Maybe
anyways, so
Those are
Square is one of my favorite companies in general as far as gaming is concerned. As you can tell from my positive games, 3 of my 5 are Square Enix games.
Wow.
And
Square
so-
Enix is making a comeback this year.
Oh, dude, I love Square Enix. That's really what it is. But
Trying
anyway,
trying to make up for Kingdom Hearts 3.
hey, it was a good game. It was a good game. Don't at me. Look, the only good game Capcom has right now really is Monster Hunter, if we're honest.
Okay.
But
I don't care about
uh,
Capcom. I like
anyways.
Monster Hunter.
That's fair. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is fine. Anyway,
Oh,
but
no.
I think Avengers is going to be the big blunder this year as far as Square is concerned. Because they've also got Bravely Default 2 coming soon, and things like that. And so I don't think it's going to be good. I really hope it is. I'm wrong, and they've delayed the game already, which is potentially good, but we'll see.
Wait
I
a
don't know.
second. Capcom has a Resident Evil 2 remake too.
Uh-oh.
I don't
You're
think
still
I don't
on
think
that?
Resident Evil's okay. So
No,
I
that
don't
one
like
you
Resident
said that
Evil.
one game, Resident Evil 2 remake.
All
That's
right.
a good game. I think.
It's- I'm not a huge fan of Resident Evil, and so
That's fine.
because of that, it's not my cup of
Speaking
tea.
of Resident Evil,
But-
Yeah,
Let's
so we're
move
going to get into
over.
mine. I have quite a few, but I'm going to run through them as quickly as possible. April 3rd of this year, they're going to do a Resident Evil 3 remake. I've been told that this is going to be in the same tone as the Resident Evil 2 remake. I haven't actually played Res 3, so I'm like this. If I get a PS4, like, this is probably one that I'll pick up and take a look at because like I'm interested. I know there's a big guy who goes stars.
Stars.
I want to shoot that-
Nemesis.
I want to fight Nemesis.
So can I
Yeah.
tell a brief story about my experience with the first Resident Evil 3?
Do it.
So I never actually got to play it. I was too young to play those games, and I still freak out a little bit when I play horror games. But when I first played
That'd be mean.
Resident Evil, when I first watched, I was in the room when my brother played Resident Evil 3, and I remember always being freaked out because he would be going through the police station or whatever buildings, and all of a sudden, like, you'd hear a glass crash, a glass break, and he'd turn around the corner, and Nemesis would be right there running at him, or like he'd be walking through these dark halls, and all of a sudden you'd hear stars, and from the sound system that they had back then, from those kind of game consoles,
Mm-hmm.
it really made that sound really terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think the sounds from older horror games are way better than some
It'd
of the
be
newer
great
ones.
if-
well,
in
except
thi-
for the voice acting.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
great if in this one, like, you hear Nemesis like over a radio or on a walkie-talkie, and they use the same noise from the older games.
Oh, like the exact same effect.
That'd be cool.
awesome.
I'd be into that. But yeah, that's coming. That's coming April 3rd. Keep an eye open for that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm interested to see how they're going to communicate that. I mean,
Yeah.
they already did that with RE2, so if it
Mhm.
stays along that line, which it looks like it is, it looks like it could be a good game.
Should be.
You guys buckle in because we're going into the indie zone.
Hold on.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I'm ready.
I'm a disgusting PC gamer, so I really love
Gross.
my indie games. The indie game that I'm most excited for coming out this year is Rivals of Ether Definitive Edition.
Dude, I also
Yeah,
like that
Ryan's
game.
excited too. Okay, so Rivals
Let's
is like
go.
a platforming fighter that's a lot more aggressive and scary than Smash.
Yes.
Uh,
It's terrifying.
Yeah, they're putting out a version on Switch and the PC. It's got all the characters unlocked from the get-go, all the stages unlocked. It's got better online is what they're saying they're going to
Mhm.
do. I'm going to hopefully get it on my PC because it's going to have access to the workshop where
Oh,
you can
will it
play.
on PC still?
That's what I've been told.
Ooh.
You can play as Ronald McDonald because he's in the workshop,
Or you can play as Lynn from Fire Emblem.
or you can play as Ronald McDonald.
You play as Melee Fox.
You can. You
Totally
can play
accurate,
as Ephraim from
100%.
Fire Emblem.
100%.
All right.
Accurate.
Yep.
But that's coming out this.
Oh, have you played that yet?
No, not yet.
That's coming out this summer. I'm really excited for that. I'm hoping like the Rivals scene will get a bit bigger. If
Yeah.
It moves to the Switch. I can actually.
Just
Play it with
usurps
other
the
people.
Smash scene. Maybe if Rivals
We
get big, the company that supports it will actually support tournaments, unlike Nintendo.
That'd be nice.
Is there a
Actually,
company that supports Rivals
Rivals
right
is
now?
really, really like competitive oriented. I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised if there isn't like a company that supports tournaments for Rivals.
Yeah,
They've
that's
been
fair.
at like Evo and stuff a
Yeah.
couple times. So like
I mean, they
Yeah.
were at Genesis
Not
too.
like main stage, but like I know
Yeah.
they're there. They're
Yeah.
always there.
You're talking like
always
big
there.
stage though.
in the background.
Like
Yeah, they aren't like official like Evo stuff. They're
Mhm.
like the game is there and somebody else like somebody else asked to set up a setup there,
Mm.
and they usually do that. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's probably what's happening with Melee.
Yeah.
All right, next one I'm excited for as far as indie games go is Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is coming out February 11th of this year.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah, Ori is like a really solid Metroidvania platformer. I'm playing the first one right now, and I'm already excited to see what the next one does. Like these games are really beautiful.
Mm.
If you haven't,
I,
like,
I haven't got
They're
to play them,
pretty.
yeah,
but I remember it left an impression on me when I saw it. It's
Yeah.
it's one of those visually striking games.
Mhm.
I think the story is kind of the same way, where it's like there's not a whole lot of story, but whenever it kind of goes down, I am paying very close attention because I want to see kind of what happens next.
Yeah.
It's that kind of story.
Mm.
Dude, I played the
Uh,
demo of the first game, and like the little bit of story you get from that made me just, ooh,
Yeah,
that's a good story.
your mom dies at the beginning. Uh-oh, spoilers. So, the next game I'm excited
But
for.
man, the way it happens though, you can't just
Yeah.
say it like that. Like
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
ooh,
The next game I'm excited for. So you guys are probably a little bit interested in this, at the very least. Persona 5 Royal.
See, it's weird. I just started playing Persona this year.
Yeah.
I haven't got to finish it yet because I haven't time. But
That's funny.
I love this game.
Yeah,
I
it's-
love Persona 5.
I'm waiting to buy Royal just because it's supposed to have a lot more content, a lot of new areas and stuff that'll
New
change the
party
story.
member,
New
which is
party
pretty
member.
crazy.
Yeah, they usually do that when they remake a Persona game, but
Hmm.
it'll be really cool. It's coming out at the end of March of this year. Keep an eye out for that. Get excited.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay, so this is the game I'm most excited for this year, but at the same time, I'm standing a
Scared.
clean distance away because the publisher for this one is Bethesda, and I can't not be cautious after Fallout 76. I
Mm.
can't not, and I know like this is supposed to be like a different developer who's kind of like, like working on this, but at the same time, I'm really nervous.
Mm.
I guess. And that's gotta be Doom Eternal coming out March 20th for the Switch. At least that's how I'm gonna buy it. The game it's got this looks to be like the most story-driven Doom in the series yet, which has me quite interested. It's got a lot of really cool stuff you can do already that we've seen from the trailers. Like your shotgun has a big chain thing on it. They can let you grapple through the air like Samus in Metroid Prime. And that just ticks all the boxes off for me.
All the cool points.
All the cool points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna get this game, even if it's terrible. Like that's how excited I am. But I really want it to be good.
I played briefly the 2016 one. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait to play this. And it's weird because like you have to I can tell the game really wants you to play it fast. The 2016 one,
Yeah,
but you have to actually like get good at playing the game fast. It's a hard game
it's
for me.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I played Doom when I was younger. I really loved the 2016 one because I come from kind of that. I don't want to say I kind of come from that tradition of shooter where I don't like Halo. I don't really like Call of Duty, like where you have to reload and hide behind corners a lot.
Yeah, that was
like-
the stuff that if I played a shooter, those were the ones I
Yeah.
played.
I like to be up in people's face and tear them to pieces
Rip
and
and
stuff.
tear.
Rip and tear. That's how I like to play. And that kind of harkens back to some of the, I guess, kind of the Metroidvania roots of Metroid Prime, and the limitations that Doom had when they first made it. Kind of became its own cool style of
Right.
gaming that's come back in 2016 and is now
Yeah.
back in here 2020. And it's weird because like those aren't the popular shooters, they're
Right.
good and they're always like they do well when they come out, but that's not how shooters are typically made. So like I probably won't get another game like this for a long time, like until Metroid Prime 4 comes out,
Mm.
which is this is why it's kind of why it's a big deal for me.
Right. I hope we get some news on that this year. Coincidentally, what is also coming out with Doom Eternal on the Switch is Doom 64.
Yeah,
I
that
was about
game,
to say,
that,
that's gonna
that
be
game's
good.
really good.
So
You
you
don't-
get twice the Doom for your
There's a
buck.
lot of hype purely for Doom 64
Yeah,
too, by the way.
The best part is you don't have to play it on a 64.
Yeah, with that
With that
fun controller.
god awful controller. Apparently they designed games for the 64, like when the launch titles for 64, they weren't actually allowed to look at the controller while they were designing the games. I don't know what I guess it's in a box and they can like feel it, but they can't look at it because it would blind them with how ugly it
It's like,
is.
what is? Why are there 3 of these?
This can't be right.
It was a bad controller, but it had some good
Bad
stuff,
control,
man.
Yeah.
It had some good stuff. They tried.
They tried too hard, I think.
They really did.
But yeah, that's all of I think that's all of our anticipated games for this year that we're all really excited about.
You know
I
you
mean,
can
yeah.
run, you know you can run Doom on a TI on a TI 84.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Did they run Doom on a McDonald's cash register, or was that a different game?
They ran it on a McDonald's cash register, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was Halo.
Was it Halo? Hold on, I'm about to look that up now.
I can't remember.
Anyways, yeah, that's our most anticipated games for this year. A lot of good games. We'll probably get more announcements as it goes on.
We'll probably do reviews as these games come out and we play them.
Right.
It was Doom.
Oh, that makes sense.
The original Doom. So.
But yeah.
Cool.
Also, there's Destroy All Humans coming out this year.
That's
a
gonna be
remake. I remember when I played that game.
Yeah.
PlayStation 2.
It's pretty solid.
That probably explains a lot why I'm so weird.
Yikes.
Right. Well, I think we only have one thing left to talk about as we close down the show. As we shut down shop.
More thing.
One more thing.
The blood test is back. Husky is the father.
What?
What?
Hello, son.
Daddy? Look at your father, boy.
Look at your father, boy.
I didn't mean to touch on this moving family
All right.
reunion.
So, if you guys have listened to the show at any point in the past, you know that all three of us are really big fans of the Smash Brothers game series.
Yeah.
And recently, I think this week,
Yeah.
we had the last patch of the first DLC Fighters pack. Violet from Fire Emblem is in Smash Brothers, and you can tell how excited we are about that. All two of us.
I haven't got to play it yet, and usually
I'm not excited about that, but
I'd be on a character like White on Rice.
Yeah.
Usually, I wasn't even when Banjo came out. First of all, I don't like Banjo.
yeah,
I don't like the
either.
IP. I think it's overrated. I think
the games were good,
I
but
think there are a lot of millennial babies who remember that game a little bit better than it actually was.
I think Banjo probably
I
should
think
have
it
just
was
been
fine.
in the core
I
cast
played
of
it.
characters. I don't think it should have been a DLC character.
I agree
mean,
with
there
that.
were people excited. I was happy with it. That's
Yeah.
fine. I played him because I wanted to see what he was. I haven't played him much since, but you know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a character that came out that I've just been like so mediocre about, like in the Smash Ultimate area, like in this Fighters Pass. Like I was excited about pretty much everybody. I was like, wow, dude, that's pretty intense. And like, it's not that I don't understand why Byleth is in. I just don't understand why they finished the fighter pack with
Yeah.
Byleth.
With Byleth, that's my thing.
That's the question.
If you're going to I'm glad Joker came out first because that was my big pick for this fighter pass. But like, if I was going to end this fighters pack on like a really hype character, it would be him or Terry Bogard, I think.
Yeah, I'd probably put Byleth somewhere in the middle, right after
Yeah.
Hero.
Yeah.
That way people can like the way they lumped in like Banjo with Hero, instead just like have Hero announced and then lump in Byleth with there. That way, like
Yeah.
people like even if they're like kind of about Byleth, you know, they still got Hero.
Exactly. Yep.
So, yeah.
That's my thing about it. But I will say this, as the person I believe that has played Byleth the most on this table. Thank you. But I think Byleth's a fun character. Granted, Byleth isn't necessarily the best Smash character at all.
She's low
As a
tier.
matter of fact, yeah, I would say probably low tier if we're going competitive. But as far as just
still better than Shulk.
No, actually. If you played Byleth, I get y'all are joking,
This
but
is
seriously,
the power of my potato.
but seriously though, if y'all played Byleth a little more, Shulk is, even as someone that doesn't play Shulk as much anymore, Shulk is 5 times better. There's a lot of characters I'd say, but anyway.
Yeah,
we get it. You like Xenoblade.
Yeah, I know.
God.
But anyway.
You know what? Okay, I think you're right. I think Shulk is better than Byleth. Do you know why? Though you know why
I'm
Shulk
just
is so
gonna
much
talk
better?
about Byleth. Anyways,
because Shulk is faster than Byleth.
Yeah,
Byleth
exactly.
Is so
Byleth's
slow.
really slow.
She's like slightly faster than Incineroar.
Maybe.
Incineroar, no, she's faster than Incineroar. Because Incineroar is the slowest character in the game.
Yeah, but like it's probably not by much. Byleth is really slow.
Faster than Rob. She's a little bit faster than Robin.
Yeah, but Let me think. Okay, yeah. So the best thing about Byleth is range, a lot of range. She can hit from pretty far off. I think, I'm trying to remember if technically they have a better forward smash than Corrin, I want to say.
Yes.
Which is cool. I think that's good.
And technically Belmont.
Yeah, the Belmonts as well. But it's pretty stinking broke, especially if you hit it with the tip. It's really strong and it kills at 50. But yeah, cool character, neat gimmicks, not a good character. It's, for me, if I'm having fun, I'm gonna pick Byleth. They do fun stuff. That's about all I got.
I think
And also I have the patch notes if we want to talk about those.
I've been waiting for like a DLC character to come along to give me a reason to not play Wolf if my main nothing's changed.
that's kind of how I feel. Like Joker came out, and I haven't had to touch any of the other DLC characters. 'Cause
You were
Joker
just
is
waiting
so
for
cool.
you
Well,
were waiting
Joker's
for
like
a
a top
character
tier
to
too,
play
even.
when the
Pretty
DLC
much,
before
yeah.
Joker came out. You're like, I don't know who to play.
I was like, Young Link's kind of fun. Zelda's cool.
Dude. Yeah. And Younglink got buffed.
Yeah.
Yes,
If you want,
he
we can
did.
talk a little bit about that.
I've got a list, of all the buffs
Oh,
here. So
I do
basically,
too. Wow. Nice.
a lot of characters, almost everyone got like a minor shield buff. They want, I guess, shield will be a better option in the game. Everyone's shield is a bit bigger. A lot of characters got like minor.
You won't get
things.
poked as much.
That actually works against characters if you're fighting Yoshi.
Yeah.
Yoshi can pop your shield now.
Yeah.
8 characters got major buffs. That's Samus, Sheik, Zelda, Dr. Mario, Ken and Ryu,
Young Link and Toon Link.
Young
too.
Link, Toon Link, and Cloud. I think the characters who got buffed the most are Ken and Ryu.
Oh
I'm
my
a little bit scared.
goodness.
They're breaking shields left and right on Twitter, so get ready for that.
The Shotos are coming out of the closets and finally playing the game again.
Time to show them what a real fighting game character can do.
I'm on
Uh-huh.
it. I kind of feel like they probably should have been better than they were before this patch.
Oh yeah, they should have.
Let's see. Nerfs. 3 characters got nerfed. Palutena, Joker, and Zero Suit Samus. I know a bit
Yeah.
more about the nerfs. Zero Suit Samus is her like ground attack, her up special or whatever doesn't like ground you
Yeah.
as much as it did before.
Yeah, you can't kill out of it until like
50 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Something like that.
that's not like too bad, honestly. It's I
Yeah.
guess it sucks for anyone who plays Zero Suit, but not many people do. And she's still like a really solid character, so
Yeah.
it's not too bad.
Oh my goodness, I can't confirm at 70 anymore. Boo hoo.
Boo-hoo.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Joker,
It's fine.
Joker got 2 nerfs. One, like the first one is like when he shoots downward at the ground, it used to travel in like 3 arcs, but now it only has 1. That's not really a big deal since the one in the middle was the one that was important to helping you land. You can still basically land for free anyway, so it's fine. And the second thing, like he has a kind of similar to how damage is kind of regulated between like how many characters are on screen. If you start a battle against 2 or fewer characters, Joker, like his persona meter goes down faster if you're fighting fewer characters. But it doesn't really amount to much. It's like it disappears like 1 or 2 moves faster than it did before. So I mean, if you're good, that's not going to matter too much anyway.
Right.
The biggest nerf has been to Palutena, but she also got some buffs. I think
Yeah.
her down smash is better, and her up tilt is better, but they severely nerfed her neutral air, which is pretty bad actually. This is like the most. This is like the worst nerf out of all these characters. Like this could actually do some damage to her competitively. Because that's like that move is her whole neutral game. I feel like.
Yeah, it's
a big one.
pretty bad because both Palutena and Zero Suit Samus have kind of that people like to. We were talking about Zero Suit Samus earlier and how that there was a little bit of joking about how that didn't really super affect her, how she can't kill, but like that really affected her ability to land and get back to stage. So
Yeah.
she's dropped significantly, but. You know, I'm interested to see if how Palutena is going to drop as well in terms of usage in the meta. So who knows?
Yeah.
Wolf didn't get any changes, so I'm
Not
still
really.
I'm still
You have
here.
a bigger shield. Congratulations.
I'm just trying to get back to stage still, baby.
Yeah. So speaking of
Life.
the stuff though, I do want to talk a little bit about the buffs. one specific character I want to talk about is Samus. Samus is a character I started playing this game and realized, wow, I hate playing this character in this game because they weren't half as good as they were, I feel, in 4.
Yeah.
In 4, they just had a lot more fun, and they had a lot of different options that you couldn't do in this game, which was awful. So I'll go ahead and kind of read through some of the notes, and we can talk about them after that. And also, just to go ahead and say this, the same things apply to Dark Samus. So they were both changed equally accordingly.
Right.
So the only difference actually is, I see it right now, sorry, is Dark Samus, they made the right arm briefly invincible after activating shield because of the posing, the way that she poses differently, if you shielded but you hit a certain part of her right arm, she would actually get hit out of shield. But anyway, so dash attack, increased knockback or power in general to the beginning of the attack, which is really good because it used to kill in 4. It didn't at the beginning. It's decent now, so that's cool.
That is cool.
Oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite things, is up smash. They extended the launch distance, but also they helped the connecting hits a little bit. So the hits will actually connect a little better and you can't fall out of it as easy, which is huge because up smash is a really good move.
Right.
So I always liked it. Anyway, Samus's down smash also has extended launch distance, which that's a really good. It sends at a really nice angle too, especially if you hit someone off stage. Like they go down and that direction, so it's a really good kill now. Samus's up throw has extended launch distance. I've never used Samus's up throw, so I actually don't know I don't know how this helps.
It's not good for combos. I don't think you can kill with it. Like, I don't really know.
I mean, I guess if it's good enough of a buff, maybe, but I haven't used it. I don't know.
Who knows?
You tell me, comments. You tell me. Also, another thing that's really, really good is they increased the power of mid-air grab, which is her Zair, which is a little laser whip thing, and they increased the amount of time hit detection lasts for mid-air grab, which basically means you can hit twice with Zair too. So they really buffed Zair, which is a really good move for her to have. So, and they also increased shield size like they did with everybody else. So I played Dark Samus because I like the design for Dark Samus a little bit more. I played her online a little bit. Whenever I first started the game, I lost a lot of matches due to, first off, I mean, it was still pretty new, but also I was trying to use the character like I did in Smash 4, and it wasn't working. So I went back online and literally didn't lose a match. And so I'm excited to play Samus again. I will definitely pick her up a little bit more and figure out what other unique things she can maybe do in Ultimate, and we'll see. I think she's really cool now. So
that's great. I liked Sheik from the last few games, and she's still trash. So
yeah, but they buffed her a little bit. I mean,
that doesn't mean anything. she's still terrible. I don't know. I'll try her out for a bit, I guess. But
I saw. Well,
God,
why
would they take a character who's been like good consistently in all the other games and make her bad in like the dashiest one of them all? Why does that? How does that happen? She should be killing everyone because she's so fast.
Do you think it's the knockback that's really killing her, or do you think it's just pure damage that's killing her?
A little bit of both. She can't. Yeah. She just can't do enough damage, and she can't kill fast enough. That's the thing. They just completely nerfed her.
Part of Piranha Plant's lips are invulnerable when he puts down shield, though. So
no, everything I love is gone. Piranha Plant was the best DLC character.
I
like
can't
Joker.
agree with that, but
Joker's
it's okay.
cool too, but Piranha Plant's probably the best.
My favorite still is Hero.
I like the abject disappointment when like Bryant was like, "Oh, is it Gino? Is it Gino?" And it was Piranha Plant.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I was very upset.
That was delicious. Like,
I was
very upset. I saw that and I was
first.
like, I like this kid's style. I'm gonna have to try him out. And now
It's funny because he trolled us in the trailer and then he trolls us in the game.
It's excellent. I would love to see more characters.
Dude,
like
Dr. Mario got buffed too, and that's actually pretty hype.
What is it? Zelda got buffed. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but like
it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is usually the time since we talk about Smash where we're like, "What are your predictions for the next Fighter Pass?" But I don't care what either of
You don't care?
All I'm gonna say is I want Sora and I'm
I know
done.
what you want.
That's it. I don't care.
You want to get Disney in our Smash franchise.
That's
You want-
right.
You want to get that Mickey Mouse all over that.
Tarzan's the next DLC,
I don't
baby.
think that- I don't think that-
Mongrel.
I honestly, I've been thinking about it pretty hard. And I don't think Sora is ever going to be in a Smash game. And here's my
that's
reasoning.
fine.
Here's my reasoning. It's Disney. The problem isn't like,
You know they've said that they're okay with it though, right?
maybe they have said that. That's
Okay,
fine.
Just checking.
But Disney has always been really protective over all their brand characters, and Sora is, for better or worse, he's part of that. You
Yeah,
know, it's
least
one
half.
thing having him like beat up a bunch of like cricket people, but I don't think like watching him get, eaten by Ridley on screen is going to be good for their brand. I just don't think it'll happen. It's a fighting game, honestly. I don't like. Come on, you think they're gonna put Mickey Mouse in Mortal Kombat? No way.
All I'm saying is,
God,
if it
that'd be
happens,
amazing.
That would be
I
incredible.
own the show.
Oh yeah, there was another announcement.
For
They
that
showed
day.
they showed the first trailer with Howlmaru from Samurai Showdown.
Oh, yeah.
in Soul Calibur. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
really
Soul
fun.
Calibur is still a thing. I
Yeah.
forgot.
They
Mhm.
showed the first trailer with Howlmaru in it. They took a stage straight from the game from the Samurai Showdown.
It looks
I'm like,
really good though.
That's pretty cool. Did you
So
do you have
stylistic.
2B on Soul Calibur?
I think she was in the pass that I got the pass initially, so I think I can have. I think I do. Yeah.
Cool. Wonder if she's good. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just
You
kind
want me
of
to look up a tier list?
I kind of
It
stopped.
looks ridiculous.
I kind of stopped paying attention to Soul Calibur. For
Yeah.
being completely honest.
Yeah, I kind of did too.
Apparently, they did about a bunch of big meta changes to it. A bunch of big changes that change the way characters play. I just wish they'd take Reverse Sledge out.
Oh yeah, is it pretty B?
Yeah, it's when it's low level play, it's really hard to learn without learning to rely on that.
Mm.
It's just hard to get good at fighting games, man. It's really hard.
Why can't I pick up this fighting game and be the best there ever was?
Why
win.
can't I though? You bring up a good point, Logan. That's something we should talk about. I think we need a deep dive on that.
Why am I not the greatest there ever was in Rivals of Ether and Slap City?
Oh
I
my
am the best in
gosh.
Slap City.
Dude, Slap City-
I am the greatest. My fish bungin cannot be matched.
He's the ultimate
s-
life form.
Wait, do you guys have Slap City?
No,
Oh, dude, I was like, I'll play with you guys. I have it.
no, God, no.
It's a fun game.
Even
it's
if I did
it's
have
fun.
it, I wouldn't be playing it.
No, I'd be ashamed. I'd have to hide that.
Dude, that's actually a
Um,
really fun
but
game.
yeah.
I enjoy it.
We're about to wrap up this show. Why don't we just give a little bit of sneak peek of what we're gonna do next week? A little taste.
Okay.
Two Bs
I
and
think
plus.
next week we're gonna cover any news that happens during the week. And we'll
Oh,
also,
absolutely.
Of course,
Big news.
Big
Always.
news.
But I think the main topic of our discussion is going to be on platformers. We had kind of a discussion similar to this once about RPGs, but I think this time we're going to go over the best platformers, the worst ones, what makes a good platformer, what makes a bad one. I get to gush about Shovel Knight and tear Sonic apart.
I'll
It's
talk
gonna be a
about the
great
good
show.
old days with Sonic.
There were no good old days.
There were.
No, it's
Yes,
always
there
been
were.
bad.
They were good.
I will prove it
They
to you
were
all.
good.
My hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. Thank
What?
you. I'm joking.
But yeah,
No,
I'm
yeah.
excited for this one because I've played a lot of platformers. Like this
Me
is one
too.
that I feel like I can do pretty well on
Yeah.
at least.
I'm not really super big in the platformers. I'm gonna be honest. That's all I had to say about that.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I think
I guess it'll
3D.
be
I like
me
3D
fighting for
platforms.
Sonic.
I'm
For
kinda-
some of them.
Yeah. Oh gosh, we get to talk about going from 2D to 3D.
Oh
And
yeah,
how some franchises didn't do so well when they tried to make the change.
yeah. There were definitely a few like Bubsy.
Mm.
There were just a few that didn't make it.
Mm.
Sonic did fine. I don't want to hear it.
Hmm.
Adventure was good. It
This
may
is
have
gonna
taken
be-
a while, but it was
it's-
good.
It's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good show.
It's gonna be fun. You're gonna like it.
We're gonna TAS our way into a great show.
There's gonna be a lot of argument on that show. Fair warning. There probably will be.
Speaking of Sonic, we also have one other thing that we're gonna talk about. I'm thinking, that
The movie's not out until February 14th.
yeah,
though.
it'll be in 2 weeks. We'll be looking to view that. So 2 weeks, tune in. We're gonna
Hopefully,
watch
I'll
that.
watch it.
We have to do it for
Let's
science.
do it for
I have to
science.
watch it because I want it to be good.
But yeah, that's pretty much the idea that we had for what we're gonna talk about next week. We might also, who knows, maybe do a dog fight.
We'll see.
I'll fight your dog.
You never know.
We might
Hey,
do
you
that
better not
too.
fight Badger. I will
Anyways,
fight you.
I'd probably lose.
You're not
Thanks
wrong.
for tuning in. guys have been listening to the Tower Radio Live in the Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Up Dog.
Yep, that's me. That's my name.
Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next week. Listen to our show, same bat time, same bat channel, 3 to 5 on Fridays. All right. And for all the YouTube audience, we're about to leave. So thanks for listening. See you guys next week.
Love you guys. Bye.
Okay.